If there's one thing I've learned about Halloween, it's that it isn't just about candy and costumes. It's about masks, people hiding behind them, and sometimes the monsters don't take theirs off when the night ends. I've always hated Halloween, not because of the costumes or the noise, but because every year, when I see those decorations and the shelves full of candy, I'm reminded of something I can't unsee. Years ago, I lived alone in a small city apartment. My desk sat by the window, and when I wasn't working, I'd sit there and watch people pass by. I wasn't spying, just observing. The city was alive, and there was something comforting about watching it move around Halloween. I used to look forward to seeing all the trick-or-treaters. I'd even carve a tiny pumpkin for my windowsill and leave out a bowl of candy near the door. It used to be one of my favorite nights of the year. In 1989, Batman had just come out, and that Halloween, the streets were swarming with little Batman. Everywhere I looked, capes, masks, and plastic utility belts. I watched them from my window, smiling to myself. But that year, something happened that changed how I saw Halloween forever. It was just past 7 p.m. when I noticed a group of 4 kids walking past my building. They couldn't have been older than 13. One was dressed as Indiana Jones, and another as Rambo, headband and all. I remember laughing to myself, thinking about how I used to watch R-rated movies behind my parents' backs at their age, and then a dark gray van pulled up beside them. The driver said something through the window, and the kids stopped walking. I couldn't see his face clearly, but I saw him get out and walk around to the back of the van, motioning for the kids to follow. It looked wrong. The way he gestured, the way the kids hesitated, it was straight out of one of those old Stranger Danger videos. But I tried to calm myself down. Maybe he was one of their parents, or a neighbor, offering them a ride. It was a busy street, plenty of cars passing by. People everywhere. He wouldn't try anything here. That's what I told myself. But that feeling, the one that crawls up your back when something isn't right, it wouldn't leave me. When the man opened the back doors of the van, I grabbed my desk phone. My thumb hovered over the number 9. Then it happened. The kid dressed as Rambo stepped forward to look inside, and in one motion, the man lunged. He grabbed the boy, pulled him off his feet, and dragged him inside the van. The other 3 kids screamed and ran. I hit 911, my hands shaking as I told the dispatcher what I'd just seen. I tried to catch the license plate, but the van tore down the street before I could get the full number. They said police were on their way, but they were too late. A few days later, missing posters started going up around the city. One of them had his face on it, the same kid in the Rambo costume. I'll never forget that picture. He looked so happy, so alive. And I had watched the exact moment that was taken away from him. I don't know if they ever found him. I hope they did. But deep down, I know they did in single quotes T. Now, every year when Halloween rolls around, I can't look at trick-or-treaters the same way. All I see is that gray van. All I hear is the sound of those little shoes slapping the pavement as they ran for their lives. That was the night I saw what real evil looks like. But that wasn't the last time Halloween showed me something I can't forget. When I was in 8th grade, my friends and I were planning what we called our last trick-or-treat. We were 12, right on the edge of being too old for it, and we wanted to make the night count. I dressed as a hobbit. My friend Chris went as Harry Potter. Richie was Spider-Man, and Matt was Shrek, painted head to toe in green. That night felt magical. The streets were alive with kids. Houses lit up with orange lights, and everyone was smiling. We collected so much candy, it barely fit in our bags. But around 8:30, it was time to head home. Matt and Richie's parents were on their way to pick them up, and the night was winding down. Chris, though, didn't want to stop. He said he wanted one last piece of Halloween candy before we called it a night. I told him no, I was tired. He got angry, angrier than I'd ever seen him. Fine, he said. If you're gonna be boring, whatever. He stormed off down a side street we hadn't covered yet. We figured he'd just hit a few more houses and head home. But that was the last time we ever saw him acting like himself. That night, around midnight, I got a text from Chris. It said, "Hello, meet Pliers." I remember staring at my phone, confused. I texted back, "What does that mean?" He never replied. The next day, Chris didn't show up at school. His mom told me he was sick. I joked that he must have eaten too much candy. But the days passed, and he still wasn't back. I called, texted, nothing. When I finally got him on the phone, he didn't say anything, just breathed. And then he hung up. I biked over to his house that evening. His blinds were drawn, the place quiet. I called again from the street, and I saw a movement behind the curtain. Chris pulled it back. He looked awful pale, gaunt, hollow. His eyes didn't look like his anymore. They were wide and unfocused, like he was staring through me, not at me. I waved, but he didn't move. He just stood there. Then the curtain fell shut again. A week later, his mom said they were moving away, and just like that, they were gone. No warning, no explanation. I never saw Chris again. Every year since then, when Halloween comes around, I think about that last text he sent me. Hello, meet Pliers. I don't know what it meant. Maybe it wasn't even him who sent it. Maybe it was whatever had taken him. But I do know one thing after that night. Halloween stopped being about costumes and candy. Because sometimes, when the sun goes down and the masks come on, not everyone who disappears comes back. And some monsters don't need costumes at all.